Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to make a fishtail friendship bracelet. We're going to use 4 colors today, and the first one that we're going to use, we're going to measure by wrapping around our wrist twice. Doesn't have to be exact. You can tell that I'm not doing an exact measurement, but once I've wrapped it around twice with holding it with my fingers, then I'm going to go ahead and trim it. That way I know that it's going to fit my wrist for sure. If you're going to make it for someone else, make sure you wrap it around their wrist. Okay, now we're going to use the second color, and this happens to be pink. So all you have to do is make sure the top is aligned, pull it down straight, and cut it right where the first string was cut. You're going to go ahead and repeat that with any remaining colors. So today we're using 4 different colors: blue, pink, orange, and purple. So after I'm done cutting the orange, then I'll cut the purple to make sure that all 4 of the strings are the same length. Line them up, pull it down, line it up with the bottom, and trim. Now this bracelet is going to be adjustable, meaning that you can pull it on and off. So what we're going to do is bend all the strings in half. So I just align the top and the bottom, bend it in half, and now I have 8 strings to use. Since this is an adjustable bracelet, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut both straps now. So measure it from the bottom to the top. Once it's bent in half, go ahead and trim it, and you're going to do that twice. You need 2 straps. So I'm going to measure it now that I've cut 1 strap. I'm going to measure the next strap to the first one that I've cut, and now I have 2 straps that are exactly the same length. Lastly, what we'll need to cut is the piece of string for the adjustable knot. Now again, I'm not measuring exactly. If I had to guess, this is probably about 5 inches long. So just do about 5 inches. I did it in a different color so it would be easier to see. Of course, you can make the straps 2 different colors. You can make the straps and the knot all the same color. It's totally up to you and customizable. Okay, so now we're going to attach the first strap. And all we do to attach the first strap is we go close to where I bent the strings in half, and we just tie a simple knot right over left, through the hole, and pull. That's it. Now you want to make sure that your knot, when it's fully tightened, is right in the middle of that strap. You don't want one strap being too long and the other too short. You want it right in the middle. Then I flip over the strands and tie another knot. After both knots are tied, I'm going to trim this bracelet so that way there's just a little bit of overhang. I don't want to do it right at the knot. I just want to leave just maybe a half a centimeter's worth of length. That way I can melt the end. Now the wind was blowing really hard when I was making this, so I tried to use my lighter, but the lighter just wouldn't keep the flame. So that's okay, I'll just do it at the end. Once your strap is connected, you're ready to begin. Now I wanted my bracelet to look pretty balanced, so I wanted to make sure that I had each of the 4 colors on both sides. So I'm going to make sure that I have a blue, orange, pink, and purple on the left, and a blue, orange, pink, and purple on the right. I can now see that I have each of the 4 colors on each side, so now we're going to group them together just in 2 piles, one on the left and one on the right. To make a fishtail bracelet, all you do is take a string from the left and move it to the right, a string on the right and move it to the left. That's it. One from the left and move it to the right, one from the right and move it to the left, one from the left, move it to the right, one from the right, and move it to the left. You'll notice that as I repeat this pattern, that I'm kind of tugging on both of my hands a little bit and pulling it up toward that knot. That's to keep it tight. You don't have to do it that style. You can keep it loose. I like mine to look tighter. It'll also make the braid last a little bit longer. So I like to keep mine tight and snug. So as I'm pulling one side over, I'll do the other side, and then I'll give it a tug to make sure that it's up toward the top. So now I'm just going to continue doing this. And I'm going to keep working both sides evenly. To make sure that it stays balanced, I usually try to use the string that's all the way furthest out. If you can take the one that's in the middle of the pile, it just doesn't look as clean. So I try to kind of flatten those strings and take the one that's the furthest to the right or the furthest to the left, depending on which side I'm working with, before moving it over. That way that keeps the strings looking nice and flat and balanced. And I'm not keeping a pattern here. I'm not saying pink, pink, orange, orange, purple, purple. I'm just using whatever string was on the left. You can do a pattern though. If you want your braid colors to match up perfectly and look like a tight braid, you can do that. I just wanted it to look random, so that's why I'm using opposite colors or random colors, whatever color is on the furthest right or the furthest left. So I'm just going to keep doing that all the way down until I have it the length of my wrist. Now, at time to time, you're going to see me measuring it on my wrist. I don't want it to be a full circumference of my wrist. The two sides should not be touching. There should be a little space on the back of your wrist where the bracelet can come together, and that will allow me to tighten it. You'll see what I mean when we put both of the straps on and tighten it down. So when you're measuring it to your wrist, don't do it all the way around. Make sure that there's maybe an inch or so gap from each of those sides. So here we go. We just keep moving it from side to side. The kind of string that I'm using today is actually a Brazilian waxed string. The reason that I use this string is because it can be melted, so I don't have to have big bulky knots. It also doesn't slip if I ever have to put down my project. So if there's ever a time where you just need to set it down, you can, and then you can just pick it back up again. Your strings are not going to come loose. It does feel a little bit sticky under your fingers, but you can't feel that, and it won't bother you. It doesn't leave a sticky residue, but you can tell that there's a definite texture there from the wax, which is nice because then it holds your project nice and tight, and it won't fall out or get loose. Okay, so I'm holding it up to my wrist to make sure that it's wrapping around, but not all the way. Okay, I've now measured it to my wrist, and I find that it is the length that I want it to be. I'm wrapping it around. I can tell that there's going to be just a little bit of a gap on the back of my wrist, so that's great. Now we're ready to attach the second strap. So what I'm going to do is attach it just the same way I did the first strap. It's just a simple knot. I do right over left, and I go through the loop. That's it. I make sure that when I tighten it down, that my knot stays right in the middle of that strap. I have a balanced piece of string on both the right and the left side. I'm going to flip it up, and then I'm going to tie that same knot again on the back. What you're doing is you're tying a square knot, but all it is a simple knot on the top, knot on the bottom. And I'm going to trim it again, leaving just barely a tail. So it's not right at the knot, but it's pretty close. It's just after it. So now what we're going to do is we are going to create the straps. So you have your bracelet. I wanted you to see this pattern, how long it is. We're going to bend it in half. See how that fishtail braid looks really nice and clean and tight. So I'm just going to pin it underneath of my clipboard. I find a clipboard is easier to use than tape. So to create the strap, all we're going to do is twist it in the fingers to the left and then rotate it to the right. So you're going to twist your thumbs to the left, rotate it right, twist it left, rotate it right. And it kind of looks like it goes in a circle when you go fast. So as I'm twisting, I'm spinning. Twisting one direction, spinning the other direction. If you happen to be left-handed, yours will look just the opposite. You're going to twist it to the right, rotate it to the left. Twist it to the right, and rotate it to the left. Okay, that creates a rope. Now we're gonna tie a knot at the end. Just a simple knot where you make a loop and pull it through. What I like to do is take 2 pincher fingers and drag it down that rope so that way my knot is at the very end. We're gonna do exactly the same thing on the other side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna twist it in our thumbs and our pointer finger. Make a knot, pull it through the hole. Take those pincher fingers and slide it down on the rope so that way the knot is at the very end. Now we have both of our straps, so we do want to trim those tails again close to the knot, not right on the knot, just leaving barely a tail again. Once both of those straps have been trimmed, the only thing left that we have to do for our bracelet now is to tie the adjustable knot and then melt all those loose ends. I'm going to clear off my board. We're going to take both of the straps and we're going to bend the bracelet around so that way both of the straps are going to be right next to each other flat. You're going to bring the right one right next to the left one, not overlapping, just side by side. You're going to take your knot string, put it underneath both straps that are flat. You're going to bend it over the top. Then you're going to take the opposite side and put it over the string, under the straps, and into the loop on that left side. This creates a knot going around both of yours. Pull it right in the middle again. Now we're going to go from the right side. We're going to go over the straps. We're going to go over the knot string, under the straps, and up through the loop. We're going to just keep doing that same thing on both sides. So you're going to do it 5 times total, and I'll do it with you. So now we're going to go from that left side again. We're going to go over the straps, over the knot string, under the straps, up through the hole, and pull it tight. Here we go again from the right. We're going to go over those straps, over the knot string, under the straps, and up through the hole. That's 4, 1 left. We're going to go over the straps, over the knot string, under the straps, and up through the hole. And now we've done it 5 times. So now what you need to do, I usually try to pinch it together, make it real tight, tighten it one last time, and then trim those ends. Get it close, but not right on. See how I'm using a little bit of a tail that's left? There you go. And now your bracelet's finished. All you have left to do is to take that lighter and you're gonna melt all those little loose ends. You're gonna do it from each side of the bracelet, each side of the straps, and each side of the knot. So you'll have 6 pieces of strands to melt down. Get those straps close to the flame, just enough to melt it, not enough to set it on fire. All right, and then once everything is melted, then you can just pull your straps through that knot and you can make it as tight or as loose on your wrist as you want, which is really nice. So that way, if you didn't measure exactly, that's okay, because it's gonna fit over your hand and then you can make it tight. So I usually try to pinch it with my ring finger and then pull it down. I hope you've enjoyed this explanation of how to make an adjustable fishtail bracelet.